when he says, "Do you want to come over?" and the girls are looking a little. Verse, "Come over." Okay, and they're doing some cringe fucking TikTok dance. Okay, so it's, "Do you want to come over?" question versus "come over." Actually, Nick, can you pull it up? And I want to read the comments on that.
Should I pull the comments up?
Yeah, just go out of full screen. And there's some comments on there that I just want to read, maybe the top few. Put us on the other side and make it bigger. I can't read. Okay. I don't understand. Make it a little bigger. Scroll up. "I don't understand why I always end up dating assholes. So this is why there's so much confusion." Okay, guys taking notes be like, "Okay, have no manners, got it." Plot twist, "Unless he's physically not attractive enough, then he's creepy by not asking." "Them in 10 years, why is there no good men?" Take notes, guys. "They do not want a gentleman. Unfortunately, we want independence. Same women, give us instructions. Give women orders, not suggestions. Noted. I will not allow them free will to decide. They hate." Okay. And that's pretty much it. So, okay. You guys' thoughts on the little TikTok, maybe not the comments so much, but the actual YouTube video. Do you prefer a guy, would you prefer a guy to say, what was the first one? Do you want to come over versus a guy just saying "come over"? Or does it not matter?
It depends for me.
How so?
If it's a guy that I'm pursuing, as far as like dating, I would definitely prefer you to ask me. Mm-hmm. If it's somebody that I've been dealing with and I'm used to you and I'm comfortable with you, I'm kind of cool with the come over. Just because we already have that dynamic. But yeah, most of the time I would like you to be polite and ask.
I don't think it's that deep. Like, I've never really thought too deep into that, but I get why they think that the come over is more appealing, because they want guys to be like, "I want you to come over." You know what I mean? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't get it though.
For me, it really don't matter. I know for the video though, wise, it looks like they're it looks like they just want the more assertive guy. You know what I mean? Who says just come over. That's what it seems like to me.
Okay.
So for me, like, when I first watched the video, I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, it's sexy when a man's like, "Do this." But then I read the comments and I was like, shit, actually, like, it's kind of fucked up. Like, no consent. And I'm like, shit, yeah, they didn't really ask my permission. But so it's a hard one, because it's like,
I think the no consent ones are a bit of a stretch.
No,
like, that's a bit of a stretch.
But
the ones where it's like...
But I get it, like, in the sense that I used the wrong one, but like I get where like they got where they were coming from. I was like, I would like that to be said to me, but then I also do realize what that's actually putting off, when that's not what my intention would have been to put off. I just want like a manly man. And in my head, that's what a manly man would do, but maybe actually people do want gentlemen, so maybe asking is actually better. So the comments changed my complete perspective.
This is super simple. It's like when you ask a woman, "Where do you want to go to dinner?" It's the worst.
Never know.
It's the worst fucking idea on planet Earth.
You definitely have to tell them where
ever. What you do is you say, "Here's where we're going to dinner." That's the same thing as this. Come over. It means the same thing. Don't ask them what they fucking want. We're going here, and that's it.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, the "do you want to come over?" I love that way more. You know, I love the validation, the reassurance. Go for it.
I actually disagree with most of them. So maybe this is just based on how I was raised in my culture, but I think that the man should be dominant, the man should be assertive, the man should lead the woman, and obviously with consent, but the woman should want to submit to her man. So I personally prefer when men just say, "Hey, we're doing this. Hey, come over. Hey, do you want to do this?" versus being all timid and kind of submissive. "Hey, do you want to do this? Hey, where should we go for food?" I prefer when men know what they want, and like I said, obviously there's like the consent was stretching it, but I prefer for men to be dominant and confident.
I think that social media builds in really weird tests for relationships and expectations. Like, I think that a guy can be an alpha and, have male leadership and still say, like, hey, would you like to come over?
Absolutely.
You can be like an alpha male and have manners. And I think, to me, it correlates with, like, have you guys seen the orange peel theory on social media where they're like, basically it's like, can I have an orange? And then it's turned into this whole, if you won't peel an orange for me, you don't love me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. No.
So
and I think it's crazy. I mean, we're referring to social media, not we, but people refer to social media as again societal norms, things that are good, things that we want, and to me it's hard with how young these girls look. I can never figure out how old people are anymore because nobody has an awkward stage, unfortunately.
Where do they go? That hit me like a ton of bricks.
I just caught the character, wave. It builds character. It's good. I'm glad I'm 25. But it's just these young girls placing these, expectations, and for them to be advocating for a domineering, and if they're not old enough or don't understand what actual male leadership looks like, it can be an actually very dangerous expectation. I think that there's a middle ground between wanting your man to be a beta, wanting him to be your bestie, or wanting him to be like whatever. I think that's kind of a weird thing too that's on social media. But there's a middle ground between that and like, you need to come over. And I think that most people would call that healthy.
Yes. I don't believe that you know where you want to go to dinner any more than any of the rest of them do.
There's another dinner. I never said I knew where I wanted to go to dinner.
You never know.
There's another trend about that where guys will just be like, oh, like, guess where we're going for dinner, and the girl will say something, and then he'll just be like, okay, that's where we're going.
That's great. That's different to me than the comparison of like,
That's smart.
I guess it's also in context. These girls at this young age looking at like domineering behaviors between if someone was like, hey, do you want to go to, I don't know, Chipotle? It gives an answer. I think most women would be like, cool, dinner, decided, amazing.
Yeah, because then you have the whole menu to look through too.
These girls only want people or men to say come over to only if they like really fucking like them.
Right.
Any other guy, they're
gotcha.
putting them in trouble.
If it depends a lot on whether or not the woman is physically attracted to the man, and then if she is interested in them. Because if it's just some random guy that maybe she finds creepy, or maybe she finds ugly and says come over, she's going to be creeped out by it and not want anything to do with them.
Absolutely.
It's all about context, isn't it?
They only want that if they want that.
Step 1, be attractive. Step 2, don't be unattractive, basically.
Don't ask people if they're peeling orange for you.
Well, it's really interesting, though, because like the exact same behavior and treatment that a woman might deem creepy in one man and flirting or desirable in another man really just breaks down to whether she finds that man attractive or unattractive.
100%.
Exactly.
So the same behavior, like if he's unattractive, it's creepy. Now, look, there's some things that are just creepy across the board, but like there's certain things where if the guy's attractive, she likes it, it's flirting. If she doesn't, if he's not attractive, then I'm ruining your career. Okay.
No, but I get what you're saying. It's if a woman was sitting alone, let's just say at a restaurant, and a guy that she found unattractive came and asked, hey, can I sit down by you? She'd be like, you know you're creepy. But if a guy she thought was a 10 out of 10, it's true though. If a guy who in her eyes she thought was a 10 out of 10 walked up to her and said, hey, can I sit with you? She'd be flattered and say yes.
She's taking that. She's accepting yeah. Okay. Well, it is interesting though, because it sort of a little bit gets into like, I mean, saying come over versus do you want to come over? It's not a huge leap, but it's certainly a bit more assertive and. But it is interesting, there's this trope, and I think tropes tend to be based in some sort of truth. Is it any surprise that if women are attracted to and go for guys who are bad boys, jerks, and assholes, it's interesting to me, a lot of women complain about the men they've previously dated, complain that they're jerks or assholes or whatever. But yet you find yourself attracted to these kinds of men. So is it any surprise when the guy who is exciting to you because he's maybe a bit of a jerk or an asshole ends up treating you poorly? Is it any surprise that
No, it's not surprising. It's just sad when it happens. Like you kind of mentally prepare yourself because you're like, he's an asshole, he's probably not going to treat me very nice, but you still kind of get, it's because they give off that alpha vibe. Like they make you feel like they just know how to do it. They're like good at most of them are charming, and they make you feel special, and you feel like you're on cloud 9 for 3 weeks, and it's the best thing of your entire life. And then,
but only for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then you're mentally preparing yourself, and you're like, this is gonna end, and this is gonna be rough. And then it happens, and then you cry lots, and then you get over it, and then you fall into the next one, and you're like, great, I'm ready.
How many times have you gone through this?
Lots. Lots.
Well, we're gonna move on to our